Hello, and welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, a channel dedicated to helping you navigate life's challenges with clarity and inner peace. Have you ever felt like the world has you on a leash? Pulled this way and that by every rude comment, silent reply, or unexpected setback? The great Buddha said, "You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger." So many of us live as emotional puppets, reacting to things that don't deserve our energy. You smile, they frown, you break. It can feel exhausting, especially as we get older. If you're finding this relatable, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here to provide guidance and wisdom to help you live a more fulfilling life. But what if nothing and no one could touch you again? What if you had unshakable control, no matter what life throws your way? Think about it. How much of your peace have you handed to strangers, to your past, to moments that ultimately don't matter? This video is your wake-up call. Because once you truly understand this, everything will start to change. This isn't about becoming emotionless, cold, or uncaring. It's about becoming untouchable, resilient, and centered. Watch until the end, because there's a powerful bonus lesson that ties it all together. A core concept that will reinforce everything we're talking about. If you're going to take just one thing away from this video, let it be this core understanding of emotional freedom. It's a key ingredient to a life of peace and well-being. 1. Why you should stop caring. There comes a moment in your life, often when you're past 40, when you're just tired. Not physically, but emotionally. Tired of constantly reacting. Tired of constantly defending yourself, tired of overthinking every word, every silence. You wake up and feel like you're carrying 1,000 invisible ropes, each one tugging at you from a different direction. Someone's opinion here, someone's expectation there. It's utterly exhausting. But here's the liberating truth. No one tells you that you're actually allowed to let go of those ropes. Peace comes not when you have nothing to care about, but when you learn to care about the right things. We invite you to subscribe to the Buddhist Doctrine channel to receive all updates. These words echo the essence of Buddhist wisdom. You've been told that caring is compassion, and that's true, but caring about absolutely everything is not love. It's bondage. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm, and every word someone throws at you becomes a hook, pulling, swaying, and ultimately breaking you. But what if you simply stopped grabbing the hooks? In Buddhist philosophy, the mind is likened to a still pond. Every reaction, every unnecessary concern is like a stone tossed into that pond. The more you react, the more ripples distort your clarity. Buddha taught, the root of suffering is attachment. And we're not just attached to people. We're attached to being liked, to being right, to being seen as successful. That's why someone's glance, a rude comment, or even silence can become intensely painful. But ask yourself this question: does this really deserve my energy? Every single day, people hand you invisible weights, trends, gossip, unrealistic standards, past regrets. And you, without even noticing, carry them all. But freedom begins when you start asking the crucial question: is this concern truly mine to carry? If it's not aligned with your core values, if it doesn't lead you toward genuine peace, drop it. The modern world often rewards hyper-responsiveness. Reply fast. Constantly prove your worth. Post more, care more. But what if the real strength was actually found in stillness, in silence, in calmly walking away? Not because you're weak, but because you simply refuse to be baited. Let your silence speak louder than your defense. You don't owe a reaction to everything that disturbs your peace. Emotional freedom is not about building walls. It's about not handing out keys to everyone who knocks. Instead of caring about being accepted, focus on being aligned with your own inner values. Instead of needing to win every single argument, ask yourself a simple question: will I even remember this a week from now? One day, you'll realize that most things simply don't deserve your precious attention. Not because they're not real, but because they don't serve your personal growth. Cut those ropes, keep only the ones that pull you inward, toward your health, your truth, and your enduring peace. So, who told you that you absolutely must care about everything? That you must always explain yourself, always perform for an audience? The day you question that belief is the day you start living a truly different life. The less you react, the more of yourself you reclaim. And when you finally stop caring about all the external noise, you start hearing your soul again. As I've learned, the less I care, the freer I feel. And in that freedom, I return to myself. Let go. Detach. Redirect your energy. Build a strong, disciplined mind that is calm, still, and untouchable. 2. The illusion of control. Chasing clouds with chains. There was a time when you probably thought control meant safety. That if you planned enough, worked hard enough, and anticipated every possible outcome, you could effectively prevent pain. So, you held tighter, you managed schedules, conversations, people's perceptions, and even their reactions. But life kept slipping through your fingers like water. You were chasing clouds with chains. And the more you tried to hold on, the more exhausted you became. To resist the flow is to suffer, to surrender is to swim. This is one of the core teachings of Buddhism. Control, though comforting in theory, is ultimately an illusion. Life is not a puzzle to be solved, but a river to be experienced. And now, another call to action. If you're resonating with this content, like this video, it is important for our team. And also, please subscribe to the Wisdom and Wealth channel. Every time you resist its current, trying to force specific outcomes, fix other people, or micromanage the future, you inevitably drift further from peace. You suffer not because life is inherently unfair, but because you demand that it be different from what it actually is. In Buddhism, the path to peace begins with acceptance. Not passivity, but mindful presence. Imagine sitting peacefully by a river, watching leaves float gently by. That's the essence of the mind in meditation. Some leaves are beautiful, some are rotten. You don't chase the beautiful ones. You don't cling to them. You simply watch. When you truly understand that your thoughts, your emotions, and even your deepest fears are just passing clouds, you stop trying to chain them down. Ask yourself this: is this a storm I must pass through, or is it a solid wall I'm trying to push over? There's a critical difference. The storm requires immense patience. The wall demands surrender. In both situations, the answer is not control. It's clarity. It's learning to breathe deeply into the chaos without becoming the chaos itself. Because truthfully, the storm will pass with or without your permission. And the wall, it was never truly meant to move in the first place. One of the greatest shifts in spiritual growth comes when you stop measuring peace by how much you can control, and instead start measuring it by how much you can gracefully let go. When you feel stressed, anxious, or overwhelmingly burdened, take a deep breath and ask yourself, can I act with clear intention, but detach from the specific result? This is the essence of true mindfulness. Align yourself with the action, not the elusive outcome. Plant the seed with care, but don't constantly pull at it, trying to force it to grow faster. Some days, letting go may feel like weakness, but it's not. It's wisdom. It takes far more inner strength to trust the natural flow of life than to constantly fight against it. Control says, I absolutely must make this work. Surrender whispers, I'll diligently do my part, and then release the rest. So, what if you could be at peace even when things are uncertain and unpredictable? What would letting go actually make room for? Maybe silence, maybe joy, maybe the best version of the person you were always meant to become, hidden beneath all that fear. You don't need to chain the clouds anymore. Let them drift across the sky. Let life breathe in its own time. In that spaciousness, in that conscious surrender, genuine peace will inevitably rise. When I finally stopped trying to control absolutely everything, I actually started living. Let go of what you simply can't hold. Breathe deeply into the present moment, and watch how nothing and no one can touch the profound calm you carry deep inside. We would like to suggest that you join us at Buddhist Doctrine channel, where we share more about improving one's peace and state of well-being. 3. How society programs you to care, the matrix of approval. You were not born seeking applause. That conditioning came later, after the world taught you that love had conditions, success had rigid scripts, and happiness came with a hefty price tag. You were originally born free, curious, and fully present in each moment. But somewhere along the winding road, society handed you a mirror and said, only when they smile back will you truly know who you are. So, you chased approval like you were chasing air, constantly measuring your self-worth by likes, comments, and shallow reactions. But has any of that ever truly made you feel whole and complete? Freedom is not found in constant rebellion. It is found in remembering who you were before the world tried to tell you who to be. Buddhism teaches that suffering often begins the very moment we mistake the external world for our own inner truth. You've been programmed subtly, but consistently, to care deeply about things that were never truly yours in the first place: the so-called right job, the perfect body, the meticulously curated online life. And in that endless chase, you forgot to ask yourself the most important question: is this truly mine, or was it merely installed as part of the programming? Imagine society as a grand stage play, with everyone playing carefully defined roles, confident, successful, and desirable. And the moment you dare to step out of character, the spotlight turns cold and harsh. But what if you just stopped performing? What if, instead of constantly reacting to the applause, you simply walked off the stage altogether? Start by unplugging from the noise. Open a journal and ask yourself these questions: what am I chasing that I've never truly questioned? Maybe it's status, maybe it's validation from people who don't even really know you, maybe it's a limited version of success that leaves your soul feeling utterly empty. The moment you recognize the script, you are free to rewrite it. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means clarity. Buddhism invites us to observe life not from the very center of the storm, but from the safe and quiet stillness within. Try this simple exercise. The next time society's incessant noise demands a reaction, pause. Imagine that you're sitting in the audience of a play. Just watch, don't immediately react. Feel the emotional distance between who you truly are and who the world wants you to be. Say no, not as a form of defiance, but as an act of inner alignment. Every no to the false is a resounding yes to your own authentic truth. Say no to pretending. Say no to constantly hustling for worth. Say no to living a life that looks good from the outside, but feels hollow and empty within. Ask yourself, am I actually living my own unique life, or am I just fulfilling a pre-written script? You don't need the world's permission to be at peace. You only need your own. Letting go of what other people think is not coldness or indifference. It's actually an act of courage. It's peeling off the layers they placed on you, until what's left is something that is real, quiet, and truly yours. Because when the world finally stops watching, when the bright spotlight finally fades, what ultimately remains is your own unwavering inner light. And that is the only light that ever truly mattered. When I stopped caring about who I should be, I remembered who I truly am. Step out of the matrix. Stop chasing fleeting shadows. Begin living from your own center, not from the fleeting applause of society. That is where nobody and nothing can affect you ever again. That is where your true freedom finally begins. Before we move on to the next section, would you like to share this with your family? Don't forget to like and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth channel to share this wisdom with others. 4. The art of detachment. You've been taught to hold on, to fight for what you love, to never let go. But sometimes it's the very act of holding on that hurts you the most. Imagine grasping a beautiful rose so tightly that the thorns pierce your skin. Now imagine gently opening your hand and letting it rest lightly on your palm, still yours to admire, but no longer capable of hurting you. This is detachment, not indifference, but presence without possession. Not letting go of life, but letting go of the desperate need to control it. Hold everything lightly, and you will carry the world with remarkable grace. This Buddhist principle is often misunderstood. People tend to think that detachment means coldness, shutting off emotions, walking away from important relationships, becoming numb to the joys and sorrows of life. But true detachment is actually the opposite. It is the art of experiencing life fully, without clinging to it. When you stop clutching at life with a closed fist, it flows through you like a gentle, life-giving breath, peaceful, unforced, and truly alive. Think about it honestly. How many things are you currently holding on to right now? A relationship that no longer serves you, a plan that stubbornly refuses to unfold, a past that keeps painfully repeating itself, a future that you keep fearing. The more you grip, the heavier it gets. The more you cling, the more it slips away from you. So, what if you simply stopped gripping? Start by consciously changing your language. Replace "I absolutely need this to happen" with "I strongly prefer this, but I'll be okay either way." That one simple shift softens the mind's rigidity. It reminds you that your peace is not held hostage by any specific outcome. Practice visualizing your thoughts and emotions as leaves gently floating down a serene river. Watch them come. Watch them go. Don't dive in after them. Don't chase them. Just quietly observe. Detachment is like a muscle. And like any muscle, it steadily strengthens through consistent practice. Sit quietly with your discomfort. When fear arises, don't immediately run from it. When uncertainty knocks at the door of your heart, don't slam the door shut. Just let it gently pass through you. That stillness you feel, that is true power. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to so tightly that it's actually hurting me? Is it your intense need to be understood by everyone? Is it your deep fear of being utterly alone? Is it your insatiable craving for external validation? Every time you genuinely sit with these questions, you loosen the rope, and eventually you set yourself completely free. One of Buddha's greatest teachings is this: suffering begins when we attach. We suffer not because things inevitably change, but because we desperately wanted them to stay the same forever. But life is not meant to be held tightly. It's meant to be experienced fully. And every experience, whether good or bad, is simply passing through. Let go, not out of a sense of defeat, but out of deep wisdom. Let go so your hands are finally free to gracefully receive what is truly meant for you. When you release the unnecessary weight, you naturally begin to rise. When I stopped gripping so tightly, I started to actually grow. When I finally let go, I found genuine peace waiting patiently with open arms. Train your mind to witness, not to desperately cling, to feel deeply, but not to grasp. That's the true art of detachment. That's the peaceful space where nobody and nothing can ever disturb your inner calm. That's where genuine freedom lives. 5. What happens when you just stop caring? Most people live their lives like a stirred-up glass of muddy water. Constantly reacting, endlessly thinking, always trying to control how they're seen, how they're heard, and how they're ultimately understood. But here's the simple truth: the more you stir, the less you can actually see. Peace doesn't come from fixing the external chaos. It comes when you consciously stop stirring. It comes when you just stop caring about all the things that don't truly matter. Not out of apathy, but out of inner wisdom. When you stop caring so much about being seen, you actually begin to truly see. This is the transformative power of stillness. Buddhism teaches that genuine clarity isn't something you chase. It's something that rises naturally when you simply stop reacting. The moment you stop letting everything constantly pull at your mind, the world starts to lose its grip on you. You reclaim your precious energy. You finally return to yourself. Ask yourself honestly, how many of your reactions are simply ingrained habits? Someone says something negative, and you automatically feel the deep need to respond. A situation doesn't go your way, and you immediately spiral into anxiety. But what if you just didn't? What if, for once, you just didn't reply or react? What if you sat quietly in comfortable silence and simply let the intense emotion pass through you like a wave? That is true stillness. That is where your real power lies. Instead of constantly chasing external validation, turn inward. Focus on your breath, on your posture, on the daily rituals that deliberately anchor you to the present moment. When you mindfully brush your teeth, truly feel the sensation. When you slowly drink your tea, fully taste it. These aren't just mindless routines. They are small but powerful acts of consciously reclaiming your own awareness. In a world that constantly demands reaction, mindful presence becomes your quiet rebellion. You're not here to win every single argument. You're not here to constantly prove yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. In many situations, silence is actually the wisest and most powerful answer. And when you hold your peace instead of desperately defending your ego, you'll notice something deeply shift. Your energy naturally begins to rise, not because you've somehow won, but because you've bravely transcended the incessant need to win. Try deliberately watching your own mind like clouds drifting peacefully across the vast sky. Thoughts will inevitably come, some loud, some painful, some beautiful, but none of them are actually you. You are the awareness behind them all. You don't need to chase every single thought or desperately react to every trigger. You simply need to consciously detach from the external storm. When you stop caring about controlling the whole world, you finally discover true control over yourself. That is what genuine freedom truly is. The moment I finally stopped reacting, I actually began to heal. The moment I stopped caring about all the external noise, I finally heard my own authentic truth. Stillness isn't empty. It's actually full of powerful answers. And when you master the art of not reacting, not chasing, and not clinging, nobody and nothing can ever shake the enduring peace you've carefully built within. We want to share that with you so you can become peaceful and untroubled. So please join and subscribe to Buddhist Doctrine channel to keep up to date.